Welcome to Too Fond of Books. My name is Janelle, and this is a Christmas mystery recommendations video. Now, if you're anything like me, you already have a to-be-read pile for December that is to the roof. But I always like to have a few choices that are specifically holiday-related mysteries to read in December. There's something just cozy about curling up by the fire with my tea and reading a good Christmas mystery. So I wanted to recommend a few for you. If you want to find kind of that perfect Christmas mystery for you to read in December. So what I have done is I've split these into subgenres, and that way you can narrow right in on the type of mystery that you enjoy. I'm going to start with short stories, and then I've got some historical mysteries, some golden age mysteries, some cozies, and then just some modern day mysteries. All right, so let's dive right in with the short stories. This is great because you can read one or two and they don't take you very long, and you can kind of mix them in amongst the other books that you're reading. And this is a great collection. This is the Big Book of Christmas Mysteries. This was put together by Otto Penzler, and it is a collection of 60 of his all-time favorite holiday mysteries. And he's got them separated out by categories. So he's got traditional mysteries, funny mysteries, what he calls a Sherlockian Little Christmas. So I think like that, it's that style of mystery. Pulp, and he calls it an uncanny little Christmas. And so I think that's maybe supernatural. A scary little Christmas, a surprising little Christmas, a modern little Christmas, a puzzling little Christmas, and a classic little Christmas. So I'm going to jump in and out of this over December and read some fun Christmas short stories. A couple other specific Christmas short stories. This is P.D. James' The Mistletoe Murder and Other Stories. I think they're all Christmas, but I'm not entirely sure. The Mistletoe Murder is for sure, so that's some P.D. James Christmas short stories. And then Agatha Christie has a couple. These aren't very exciting for you to look at, unfortunately, but she has The Affair of the Christmas Pudding, which is a great Hercule Poirot short story. And she also has A Christmas Tragedy, which is in her 13 Problems, which is a short story collection of Miss Marple short stories, also called the Tuesday Club Murders. So if you want a Miss Marple Christmas short story, then A Christmas Tragedy could be the one for you. All right, here are a few historical mystery that are set at Christmas or during the holidays. We have The 12 Clues of Christmas by Rhys Bowen. This is part of her Royal Spyness series. The main character is Lady Georgiana Ronick, and they take place in the 30s. And these are a really fun, light-hearted historical mystery series. We have Anne Perry, A Christmas Homecoming. This one is just an example, but she has a whole series of Christmas mysteries, and what's great about these is that they are more novella size than full-length novels. So if you want to dive into some really nice historical Christmas mysteries, you might want to check out her Christmas mystery series. Then we have some that you may not know offhand are Christmas mysteries, but they are definitely set in the holiday season. This is The Raven in the Foregate by Alice Peters. This is one of her Brother Cadfael series, and he is a monk in Shrewsbury this one is set in 1141, so we're in the medieval time period, and this one is set over Christmas. Yeah, I love the Brother Cadfael series. We also have The Apothecary Rose by Candace M. Robb. This is the first in her Owen Archer series, and it is set at Christmastide 1363. Excuse me. He used to be the king's captain of archers, but now he must penetrate a poisoner's secrets. So he's a very interesting character. It's this one is set in York, and at an abbey in York, 2 pilgrims lie mysteriously dead of an herbal remedy. Suspicious, the archbishop sends for Owen Archer, a Welshman with the charm of the devil, who's lost one eye to the wars in France and must now make a new career as an honest spy. This is a fantastic series. I can highly recommend it, and this first one is set at Christmas. And then Maureen Ash's Murder for Christ's Mass, a Knight Templar Mystery. This is set in, 1201 in Lincoln. And it is set, it opens on Christmas morning. And the main character is Templar Bascot de Marins, who finally escaped after 8 years of captivity in the Holy Land. Injured in both body and soul, he is on a sojourn at Lincoln Castle, where the coming holidays hold the promise of hope and long life, but not for everyone. And then finally, Michael Jex, the Boy Bishop's Glove Maker. This is from his Knights Templar series or West Country series. I think the series name changed partway through. But this is main character Sir Baldwin Furnesshill, who is keeper of the King's Peace, and his friend bailiff Simon Puttock at Christmas in 1321. As a reward for their services in a previous investigation, they've been summoned to Exeter to receive the prestigious Gloves of Honor in a ceremony led by the specially elected Boy Bishop. But the dead man swinging on the gallows as they arrive is a portentous greeting. All right, here are a few recommendations for you set during the Golden Age, and I am being very generous here because these are set kind of between the 20s all the way up to the 50s. So, Who Killed the Curate by Joan Coggin. This is a Lady Lupin mystery set at Christmas. This is a really fun series, and I think she only wrote 4 in her Lady Lupin series. Lady Lupin marries the Vicar of St. Mark's, which is in a village in Sussex. And this is a great series, and this one is a really fun Christmas mystery. The 9 Tailors by Dorothy L. Sayre. This is one of her Lord Peter Wimsey series. The 9 teller strokes from the belfry of an ancient country church toll out the death of an unknown man and call the famous Lord Peter Wimsey to one of his most brilliant cases. Steeped in the atmosphere of a quiet parish on the strange, flat fen country of East Anglia, this is a tale of suspense, character, and mood by an author the critics rate as one of the great masters of the mystery novel. So this one, what I love about this one is that it's about bell ringers, which I find just so very interesting. And then we have Georgette Hare's Envious Casca, or a Christmas mystery. There's another name for it. And so this is a country house party Christmas mystery. Hilda Lawrence, Blood on the Snow. She is an American writer. This is from the 40s. Detective Mark East is trapped in a wintry world of shifting allegiances and masked intentions. When Mark East arrives at the elegant estate in Crestwood, his employer, Mr. Stoneman, insists he is engaging East only as a private secretary. But why is Mr. Stoneman so frightened? What does their melancholy hostess Laura Morey keep into her room? And what secret is little Anne Morey hiding behind her tight-lipped, solemn face? Then, when a woman dies in a mysterious fire and a housemaid suddenly disappears, East discovers that some passions cannot be buried under a peaceful blanket of snow. Carter Dickson, The White Priory Murders. This is one of his kind of closed Locked Room Impossible Crime. White Priory is a beautiful old mansion outside London. Its owner, a playwright, had invited some people down to discuss his new play, among other things. But someone had come not to talk, but to kill. When Scotland Yard joined the house party, everyone started to talk, but all they did was accuse each other of murder. And all their accounts seemed equally plausible. It was a case for Sir Henry. Only Merivale could sort out the suspects and mark the murderer before he killed again. An English Murder by Cyril Hare. This is fantastic. It is another country house Christmas mystery. Agatha Christie, A Holiday for Murder. This is a Hercule Poirot set in a country house. Wealthy Simeon Lee invites his children and their spouses for Christmas and lets them know that he is changing his will. And as we all know, that never ends well. Murder for Christmas by Francis Duncan. This is one of his Mordecai Tremaine series. This is again another country house mystery. Mordecai gets invited to the country retreat of Benedict Graham on Christmas Eve, and he discovers that the revelries are in full swing in the sleepy village of Sherborne. But so too are tensions among the assortment of guests. When midnight strikes, the partygoers discover that presents aren't the only thing nestled under the tree. There's a dead body too, a dead body that bears a striking resemblance to Father Christmas. Murder in the Snow by Gladys Mitchell. This is a Christmas mystery where she goes to visit her nephew at his house in the Cotswolds. The Christmas Egg by Mary Kelly. This is set in London over Christmas. Chief Inspector Brett Nightingale and Sergeant Beddoes have been called to a gloomy flat off Islington High Street. An elderly woman lies dead on the bed and her trunk has been looted. The woman is Princess Olga Kurukin, an emigre from Civil War Russia, and her trunk is missing its glittering treasure. The Santa Claus Murder by Mavis Doriel Hay, another country house murder. And the family patriarch is discovered by a guest dressed as Santa Claus with a bullet in his head on Christmas Day. And then Nia Marsh, Tied Up in Tinsel. This is one of her Roderick Allen series. When a much disliked visiting servant disappears without trace after playing Santa Claus, foul play is at once suspected, and foul play it proves to be. Only suspicion falls not on the staff but on the guests, also unimpeachably respectable that the very thought of murder in connection with any one of them seems almost heresy. When Superintendent Roderick Allen returns unexpectedly from a trip to Australia, it is to find his beloved wife in the thick of an intriguing mystery. All right, and then a few cozies, if that is what you prefer. Starring Miss Seaton by Hamilton Crane. Miss Seaton is a fabulous character. She's a retired art teacher. And in this one, she is helping backstage at the annual Christmas pageant. She discovers some rare silver, murder happens, and Miss Seaton must investigate. Oh Little Town of Maggotty by Joan Hess. This is part of her Maggotty series. Maggotty is a very small town in Arkansas, like 800 people. Chief of Police Arlie Hanks is the main character. Matt Montana, country music superstar, has come home to Maggotty for the holidays. For a town in the grip of a recession, the news means Christmas is bringing a savior. Only one thing is missing: Matt Montana's Aunt Adele, who has mysteriously disappeared. This is a really fun, lighthearted, humorous, cozy series. MC Beaton, Kissing Christmas Goodbye. This is one of her Agatha Raisin series, so this is set in the Cotswolds. And only two things seem to offer potential excitement to Agatha Raisin: Christmas and her ex, James Lacey. She is sure that if she invites him to a splendid Christmas dinner, their love will rekindle like a warm Yule log. But that fantasy will have to wait for now. A wealthy widow who sent Agatha a letter before her death saying that one of her family intended to kill her has been found dead, and now Agatha must set out to find the murderer, even though in her heart she is still dreaming of a white Christmas. Nancy Atherton's Aunt Dimitys series, Aunt Dimitys Christmas. In this case, Laurie Shepherd is looking forward to celebrating Christmas with her family when they discover the body of a mysterious stranger outside the cottage, barely alive. And so they look into who he is. And Laurie potentially learns a little bit about what Christmas really means. And then there are 5 in the Mrs. Jeffries series by Emily Brightwell. This is a cozy series set in Victorian London with the main character Mrs. Jeffries, who is the housekeeper of a Scotland Yard inspector. So we have Mrs. Jeffries and the Silent Night, Mrs. Jeffries and the Yuletide Murders, Mrs. Jeffries and the Mistletoe Mix-Up, Mrs. Jeffries and the Merry Gentleman, and Mrs. Jeffries and the Feast of St. Stephen. And then finally, a few kind of more modern day mysteries. We have Colin Dexter's The Secret of NX3. This is one of his Inspector Morse series, so these are set in Oxford. And there was a New Year's Eve ball, but a body of the person who won the contest is found dead in the annex, and no one knows his real identity. Jill McGowan's Murder at the Old Vicarage. This is one of her Hill and Lloyd series. This is the first one, I believe. It is set before Christmas in the village. So, Graham Elstow is found dead, but the vicar and his wife are more relieved than grieved. He had beaten their beloved daughter so severely that she had landed in the hospital, and he had struck her again on the day he died. But murder they deplored, especially in their own home on Christmas Eve. Arriving on the scene are the canny police duo of Inspector Lloyd and Detective Sergeant Hill, perfectly matched as they investigate Yuletide malice most undomestic. And then Frost at Christmas by Rodney Wingfeld. This is one of his Inspector Frost series. You are about to meet one of law enforcement's great eccentrics, the irrepressible Detective Inspector Jack Frost of the Denton Police. He takes charge of the search for a missing child. A rash of new crimes breaks out. An ancient skeleton is unearthed where it shouldn't be. A fresh corpse of a bank employee turns up, and the puzzle of a long-forgotten robbery comes back to haunt respectable citizens. And then Robert B. Parker's Silent Night. This is a Spencer Holiday novel completed by Helen Brand. So this was incomplete when Robert B. Parker passed away, and so it was finished by his longtime editor, I believe. So this is Boston private investigator Spencer in the holidays. And then finally, How the Light Gets In by Louise Penny. This is one of her Armand Gamache series, so this is set in Quebec, and Christmas is approaching. Gamache receives a message from Myrna Landers in the village of Three Pines. He welcomes the chance to get away from the city. Her longtime friend, who is due to spend Christmas in the village, has failed to arrive. So he works in Montreal, but most of the action, a lot of her mysteries take place in the small village of Three Pines. So there are a few Christmassy mysteries for you. I hope you found something in here that piqued your interest. Hope you enjoy some wonderful holiday mysteries this month of December. Thanks, and I will see you for another video soon. Bye.